And we are live finally. Hey, what is up, Headhunters and Executive?
Oh man,
Hashtag
love that music though. Pumps
Mother
me
Effer
up
Herc.
every time.
Oh man, so sorry we're a little bit late, folks. Neil couldn't figure out how to get the thing to work.
Oh man, that is wrong at so many levels.
Boomers, am I right?
Tell the truth, my man.
Okay,
Tell
boomer.
the truth. My daughter calls it. I love it. You need to fess up. We were broadcasting to a different group, and we had a great show. You missed some of our best moments that we opened up with.
It's a private BDSM group that I run.
Speaking of which, my grandpa went on Grindr, and he's no longer with us. He had a really rough reaction to it. So it turns out it's not Grindr.
It's not Grindr?
No. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Well,
but it was a really
for those folks who don't know, we were this is my great idea to basically run to start a Tinder service for grandmas and grandpas called Grindr. And maybe I guess they say it's all in the name, right? I don't know.
And we couldn't get the website, but yeah, so I sent him to it because he's been lonely and he's not the same. Let me just say that. Just not the same. It really isn't.
He isn't the same. He came back a changed man, literally, and a shaved chest for some reason.
It works at 90. It really looks great. Actually, my grandpa's long past. 90 would be amazing.
Do you ever find it weird? Okay, now bear with me on this. I find it weird that when a guy gets in shape, against the chill's chest, for some reason his hair falls out. And his hair falls out into his upper body, with the exception of that little circle in the middle of his back. For some reason, that's still hairy. Everything else is gone. Is that weird? Is that normal?
Well, I got to say, I went on my Atkins low kick thing, lost a ton of weight and was buff as hell. And my chest hair magically disappeared. I was that guy. Yeah.
It's weird how that happened. And then all of a sudden your shirts get smaller. I think they shrink in the wash. It's kind of like they're like your little brother shirts, basically.
But what about the tuft of the hair in the back? That's good. But I've noticed it. Once you start shaving other parts of your man parts, you then realize that there's a tuft. Now I'm extremely unhairy, right? So I mean, if you look, I've really got not a lot of hair. I mean, I don't. Yeah, look. I mean, I got a little chest hair, enough to show I'm a man. But we all get that tuft. Do you not have a tuft? I shave. I shave it once every 6 months. Do you have a tuft? No tuft. No,
I get tuft. Yeah, I have to trim up, and the lady requires it that I shave. You got hair.
You have to shave. No, the tuft is not sexy. I don't care who you are. You could be Brad Pitt. You could be with him if you're a girl, and you see a tuft there. You're like, dude, get rid of the fucking.
Brad Pitt make that work.
Sorry.
I bet Brad Pitt make that work.
No one makes a tuft work. I mean, they would deal with it. They're not going to throw him out, right?
They work,
but they're not loving it. They're like, oh man, I'm with Brad Pitt and he's got a tuft, right?
Oh man, I think we're getting
TMI,
right. Jackie says too much information. Hey guys, by the way, if you want your name to appear on the screen, click that link where it says Facebook comments issue. It'll actually give this platform permission to show it on the screen. So, but that was Jackie said TMI. Come on, Jackie.
Yeah, come on, Jackie's totally picturing Brad Pitt's hair tuft. You'll never look at him the same way again.
I'm just saying, it's just like we're gonna write this recruiting. It's just like anything else with an opportunity and maybe a cold call or whatever it is. It's value. It's all about a value exchange, and the more value you have on the front end. And I think Brad Pitt brings so much value to the game, he can lead with the tuft, and it'll still work for him. I think.
No ifs, ands, or buts. But I'm saying the image is never going to be the same. It's kind of like Jamie Lee Curtis when that whole rumor is going around about her being I don't know if this is but the hermaphrodite thing that was going on. Not that there's anything wrong with it. Let me just say that. I just can't look at her the same way in any movie or anything ever again without picturing a female penis. Is that wrong, David? This is your group. I don't mean to step over the boundaries. Okay.
I don't mind. Female penises are fine.
I don't think that's ever been said before.
We don't want to gender our penises. We like non-gender, non-binary.
Is that right?
Penises. That I believe. So.
Right.
I think it's prevailing scientific consensus.
All right,
I learned that from Twitter. But anyway, but moving on.
Yeah.
And basically, guys, that's Twitter. That's why I'm not on Twitter or rarely on it. That's basically Twitter right there. But let's talk about maybe some actually I will say this. Will Spangler, click on that link so we can see your name, said, what setting trim do I use for my beard? And I would say it's the setting that my person does my hair sets it on. So I don't know.
You have your beard trimmed by, well, for one, who's getting this done in the pandemic? That's why you look so coiffed.
Yeah,
Is it the missing?
We're Florida, homie. We're opening up.
Oh my God, that's why you look so.
We're not in a totalitarian state like New Jersey that is shutting down.
It's bad.
About the woman that her Facebook Live got shut because she had a little shot closed down. We're in a Facebook Live selling things by mail. They shut her down because, hey, Amazon could do it, but you can't because you're a small business.
Oh yeah,
So,
yeah,
Big
like, brother.
Atlas Gym, they're shutting down. Like they're Big Brother, man. Big corporations are doing great. Target's doing great.
But you weren't worried about social distancing and the virus with your beard touching that? Like a virus like could shed in one of those little like I don't have a lot of places for the virus to hide. You know what I mean? I got like the little, kind of
the Corona saver.
That's right. I mean, seriously, it's gonna spread. You're touching your face and your nose. You're scaring me. My God.
I'm at home. Where am I going?
Well, exactly. When I'm on Zoom with my family and they say we do this or something, I get yelled at for touching my face. I'm like, I'm at home in my bed right now. I'm in boxers in my office, right? like who cares?
Dude, who cares? You know the crazy thing is that they shut down the hairstylist for selling gift certificates so that they can come, so people can come later online. They shut her down and find her for selling gift certificates. It's just craziness. But on that note, let's talk about maybe some more fun stuff. So here's things we can talk about. And if you guys want to throw some up in the comments, happy to do that as well. I do know there were a couple topics, I thought would be interesting to talk about. There's some new stuff with Neil. Let's talk about new stuff. Actually, how about that? Neil's got some news items, and if we have time, we can talk about some more recruiting related things, which I want to talk about. Which is ripping job orders from the internets.
We can talk about that now. Go ahead, talk about that.
Well, so I sent out this. I had a couple of live trainings, right? I talked about leadership calls, and I sent an email last week, and I had called out a couple folks. I'm not going to say names, who had talked about in training, like in their training, to in essence, taking a job order from the interwebs and using that as your job order to recruit a leader and then to flip it. And I thought that was dastardly behavior. And
it's a ruse. It's a dastardly. Watch your mouth. Watch your mouth on this show.
Dastardly.
But what's your point? That it's a ruse, right? That it's lame. Well, no, but so it's funny. So I posted, and if you haven't read it, I posted this article about cold calling, and I posted it on LinkedIn and a bunch of places. And I got some people. Most people really liked it, and we're going to play with it. And I got some that said this is so unprofessional. It's a ruse. Where's the job? You're making up a job. Well, tell me about the opportunity. Where's the opportunity? And it's in the group. I posted something about cold calling. It's just an article here. It's in here as well. And it's talking about how leaving a cryptic message to people and just not giving you full game. Just, call from the recruiting angle to flip it. Don't tell them anything. Like, don't say, I'm a recruiter. Don't give your friggin' speech on your voicemail because everyone's going to delete it, just like we do, right? So, I mean, that's what we do. We get a sales call. How many of your sales calls do you save on your iPhone, your Android when you get them? Like zero, right?
Zero.
It's done. In fact, the second you hear it's a voicemail, that's from a sales call, it ends. And you delete
Hi, this is David Patterson with the Kinetic Group. Now, we haven't talked before, but I'm an SAP recruiter. I've got 20 years experience. And that was my whole game. Like 10 years ago, that was like, I left 50 of those a day. And I did good because I pounded it. But yeah, it's not.
Right. You pound it. So one will listen to it if they happen to be super bored, right? So I'm saying just leave no info other than it's personal, which it is. That's not a ruse. It's personal. And that's it. Give me a buzz. I was referred to, or we need to talk. No ruse about it. So back to your point, people are like, well, what job are you going to make up? It's really wrong to make up a job. I'm like, who said anything about making up a job? Like, you don't have to recruit and network with someone. You don't have to have a job. And I know you might preach differently, but I don't feel to get into a conversation. Look, call me David. Hey, thanks for calling. Here's the deal. Here's who I am. Here's why I called you. You're awesome. I hear you're like all over the internet. You got the social group. You're an amazing recruiter. You're a digital marketer. You're great, like with videos. People think you're totally awesome. You got, an amazing beard. You got the tuft of hair in the back. So what's going on, man? I thought this is what I do, and I thought we absolutely should be connecting. Anyway, whatever you want to do, it's just you get to compliment them. You get to talk about, look, I just network with talent. You and I need to network. Here's my pitch, whatever you want to give that you normally would. There doesn't have to be a job there. I will get something. I will know someone. Our business is all networking. We're networking now. I don't understand. I agree with you.
Yeah.
To open up back to your point, that's bullshit.
Well, and likewise, I agree with you as well. I mean, so the way I look at it is so a lot of my when I talk about cold calls, I typically do it in the middle of some sort of sequence. Maybe I sent a couple messages already, and so what I like to do, I kind of teach something similar where my line is more along the lines, but it's very similar. It's hey, Bob, this is David. Hey, I got something really specific I got to talk to you about. Can you give me a call back at? And it's kind of the same thing, but that specific thing is, oh yeah, that message the other day. Anyway, I mentioned I would call you, and then because it gives me that thing to talk about. But the other thing I want to agree with you on is the fact that yes, the way, and the other thing that bothers me about the way people are marketing this business or do BD rather. I hate saying market because this is marketing is different, but doing BD is that they're trying to do things that, well, first of all, it's very basic, but they should go in with a mindset. It's not about working with the company. It is, but it's not. It should be about it's all about the leader. It's I want to be the headhunter in that leader's back pocket. If that leader is on a upper career path, right? It's
easy for you to say.
Yeah, if this is a really good leader, I want to be in their back pocket, regardless of what company they're at. If they want to make a move, they want to use me to, that's where the real power is. If you're going there trying to sell how you can shorten their time to fill by 15%, that's okay, but it's not as good of an in,
That's right.
And it's not at all. By the way, you guys should get the leadership call I did because or the training that I did on that because I go into that specifically, but yeah, I'm a big believer in not like the flip. I don't call it the flip necessarily, but in essence, going in with that and then with nuance, being able to flip it, not doing that clunky. Golly gee,
by the way,
Bob, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask, but do you use recruiters there? And I was like, oh, it's the worst, man.
It's funny, people, because when you flip a call, the call is supposed to be all of the things all of the time. But in our mind, and especially I think the way that we're originally trained, I mean, I was trained that it's 4 prongs on every call that you have, right? It's you talk to them either coming in the marketing door or the recruiting door. So, and you want to switch it from marketing to recruiting. And you always want to get a marketing lead. So a lead for a new job, or you want to get a recruiting lead, a lead of another person. And so when you start, you go A to C to B to D. And it's all of them all the time at the same, there's no stupid segue. So I agree with you.
And for me, I think what happens a lot is, and again, the what I want everybody to think, and every time you say, we try to flip it, gosh, Bob, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you, but
do you actually add gosh to it? I think the gosh might be the issue more than
that's basically what's going on. You guys sauce. The way I look at it is there's really 2 ways to do it. And in the leadership training I did recently, I only talked the way I do it now. But there's an earlier YouTube video I have where I talk about more of like a crutch way to do it. And a crutch at the beginning is really where you kind of say at the beginning that, so let's say you got a VP on the line, you're going to speak to that person for 30 minutes. At the beginning in the agenda setting, you actually talk about the fact that you will be speaking about them on a client relationship potentially. You literally just state it because that way you don't have to go through the embarrassment because what happens, the way I describe it is sometimes if you don't need this, if you get good at it, or you don't need that, you can do it and still not be super sneaky about it. You can be totally upfront. And I love being honest, radical honesty. But if you're not there yet, you can use some of these crutches because it's at least that is better than going on a first date, being a super friendly, Mr. Nice guy, super platonic. At the end of the night, she thinks, well, gosh, he must not be interested in me. And then you go for the kiss and it's weird. you always have to build that tension throughout, because if you don't do that, then gosh, Bob, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you. Like, oh, I know what you were doing there. It's super, super weak. And so,
and it goes back to, so someone had mentioned, I had a call with one of the Hercs this week, and they mentioned that they loved on their call last week that we were talking about, both of us use sort of the analogy of having a gun to your head, right? And, basically, and we didn't really expand on it too much, but, the point to that was several fold. I mean, one, make it a really good call. Like don't just wing it, right? So, but the other point was that take your time. And it's going to be one call that you get in your entire life, let's say. You're not going to just get on the phone anyway. You're going to really take the time to do your homework. Learn about David. Look at one of his videos when I'm going to call him. Check out the links that he has. Talk to him about Herc that he set up 3 years ago. How did it grow so much? Like, do the homework, which no one has. We all know that, because that's a cliche too from trainers, right? Do your homework, get on there and research your client. Okay, we all know that, but it's impossible to do if you have that non-ending prospect list. They all become lame calls, right? That's what that 100%. Meant.
And also think about this too. The same gun to them head mentality. If you can gamify, if you have real consequences to not lose bad behavior, but to not doing good behavior, right? So as an example, and this is, I did a dojo earlier today. It's in my training. We do these like role play things on Zoom, right? But it's dojo. But I work with a guy in his tonality, and Michael G. Cox. Some of you may have heard of him.
What's his name?
Michael G. Cox.
That's like a family. That's like a porn name. That's like a joke, right? That's like you make up like a street name.
He's a very good looking man. But anyway, but we have this joke where we're trying to get people to use tonality to really deliver and have it's a sticky script. If you have a sticky script that delivers emotion, they're more likely to stay with you while you're delivering your pitch. And so we had one guy who was delivering a flat pitch. And so basically the deal was, while he's delivering the pitch, Michael G. Cox in the back, and he's hype man. And anytime it was too flat, Michael go like, yeah, you know it, to try to. Because anytime he knew if you went too flat, he'd get hyped. And so having little things like that like almost like penalty for that behavior. Or another one, which I love, I haven't done this in forever. If you have a partner you're doing this, like accountability buddy, and they get to listen to your calls or audit your calls, if you don't have any calls that you didn't attempt to close, they will make you go and call them back and apologize for doing them the disservice of not trying to close them. I guarantee you do that one time, you're going to try to close every call, because it's going to force you to do right behavior, right? Gamify it.
But it's amazing. I remember in the beginning too, in hindsight, since it was so long ago, like why would you not want to ask for business? Like they know why do people hide from the fact that they are trying to make a living doing what they're doing? No one thinks you're a recruiter picking up the phone for their own good, nothing in it for you. We're trying to make a living. Why? It's an amazing point you bring up. I don't get that. Nor do I get it bothers me when someone tries to sell to me and they don't go for the close. I'm like, what the F are you doing?
It's their moral obligation. If they believe in their service, and they don't try to close you, but they're telling you is, yeah, you're not, you're not good enough for what we have. Like that's, granted they may not qualify, and that might be different. But at the same time, what it is you have to love your prospect enough to to be willing to be uncomfortable for their benefit.
It's very well said. My point though is like, what is so uncomfortable? Like it's so weird. Let's say you're selling insurance, or I guess someone that calls me, they were referred to me, but they don't come straight out and say, listen, I want you to sign up with it. I want you to move from Prudential to like, what will it take to get you to move? Whatever. What will it take to get you in this car today? Like, I want them. Like, if they don't do it, what was the point of the call? I know where they're going. I know they want me to use their car company, or they want me to use their insurance product. They want me to, send my financial investments over to them. But so many people don't. Hey, just if you ever have a need, like, what is that?
Try.
Right.
And also, if you do it well, because some people I like to be, as they say, game recognizes game. And if I get a good salesperson, I'm like, oh, all right, let's see what you got. I want to seduce me with the sales pitch. I want to be sold. A lot of people like to be sold well to. They don't want to be sold poorly to. They want to be sold well to.
I like that. Seduce you with the sales pitch. Like, David, what are you wearing? Like that kind of seduction on the sales pitch?
Well, it was kind of like in the script when a cold call, if you have emotion in your voice, you talk about this, and you really kind of make it really sticky. They'll like, you can have a long script if there's enough emotion in it, but it's like the moment you go monotone and deliver it, then you lose them. You know, if you slow down, up and down, and start.
Oh my God, emotion and conviction. I mean, words do matter, right? There's that study from 72 from Moravian where they say words only matter for 7%. Tonality and body language are the other 92. It was like 56 and 46 or something like that for body language and tonality, and tonality being the biggest. That just meant that they had to be congruent. You can't say, you know, hey, David, you're really funny, and not David, you're really funny. Like, they have to match. So words matter. The stuff we talked about earlier matters. But putting that all aside now, your entire message is indeed your tonality and your body language. If we got video, we got body language. We see how we're laughing. We see how we're looking. We see how our heads moving. And you don't have video, which is most of the time when we're making our calls and we're doing our prospecting. We've got this. This is what we've got, just to your point. That's why it's so important, because your message gets lost if you could say the same thing. You could have a much worse script, much worse, and just you could talk like this, and just be really effusive. And look, I stink at what I'm doing, but I really listen. I'm so passionate. I want your business. I don't have any good reason to get it. Like it could just be a horrible call, but it's gonna be much better than all these amazing words that you have in there. You know,
exactly. And variance too is a big one, because you can go like real hard, like you can go real hard and talk about, you know, sales cycles being down, but at the end of the day, it affects my client's ability to blank. I don't know, impact. What are your thoughts on that? Does that resonate with you at all? And so you go up, you can go down, and you kind of bring people in, you push them away. It's like seduction, right? That's all it really is. And like I said, you do it well, and people resonate with it.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I love that. Yep.
It works. And because here's the other thing too, people don't realize when you make a cold call and they pick up, first off, they wish they didn't pick up, and secondly, they're in their email. They're not paying attention to you, so you gotta snap their attention on you. And if you don't, they're not even listening to what you say.
No matter what you do, that's the very first step in selling, right? The AIDA, there's tons of them: attention, interest, right? Desire, action. Forget about the training acronyms. It's always attention. You've got exactly that. That you got to assume that the last thing they want to do is pick up the phone and have you at the end of it. They're not doing it. If they think a sales call's coming in, they're not picking up the phone. So when they do pick it up and it is you, their first reaction is they are not pleased that they picked up the phone. Let me be crazy, but that's the view I go into it with, and it's okay.
Like Will said here in the comments, he says one of the things he says is this is a sales call. I do something. So I say this is a cold call. Hey, this is a cold call. I just say it because they're on their heels. They're like, what? And it snaps their attention, and you're being radically honest. I mean, you're not lying, because what salespeople always lie, they say, right? At least we don't. But
make it not a sales call, right?
Think of the trust you can get. You can really quickly trigger in somebody if you're just radically honest. That's why I don't like ripping job posts or advising people to do, because I see people advise this as their official. It just irks me.
So, David,
I used to do that. I used to do that shit.
We all did, but it's funny, right? Of course it does, which is why you just have to let it go and not care. And you know what was good is I had a mentor really early on that would just same deal. They'd make me either call people back or they would make me hang up the phone immediately. I had to just get over that discomfort and that call rejection, which who cares? I have people, and I'm sure you all do, but now what I do I sell to recruiters all the time, and they could be super nasty because they get abused. It's the old stick in the dog. And I get people like, rip me a new one. You a scumbag, whatever. They're having a bad day. It doesn't bother me. I know I'm not doing anything wrong. And God forbid, forgive me for trying to sell my product, just like you're pitching all day, peddling people. I get it. And I'm not mocking the people because that's our audience. Hey, David, let me segue into
that's not a segue.
No, it's a segue. No, it's a segue on this because it reminds me of a call. Jesse, are you on? If you can message in, if you're out there, because I don't want to tell the story if she's not listening. But it was a really good one when emotion can go wrong. and being not monotone and being different. It was a really funny story, and I thought it would make. Are you out there? Are you out there, Miss Jess? Oh God, we'll have to save it then. All right, if you happen to come on the show, message us. It was a really good thing. We'll save it till she's on there. Unreal sort of story about candidates on interviews going wrong, going bad.
Oh,
and yeah, really good.
Is it kind of like a Girls Gone Wild, but candidates gone crazy? Sort of.
It's actually perfectly a mix like that. But this is a teaser now for everyone because it's kind of like I've got a secret and I'm not going to share it. I've got a secret. By the way, wait, is that a drum major? Is that your drum major thing? Is that what that is? Gong? Oh, that's awesome.
Which reminds me, I do a gong hit for him.
So, which reminds me, David, you have caused me lots of purchases. Now, I don't know how much we want to get into it with the people. We can maybe share one day in the first purchase that bonded us. We don't have to do that today. That's maybe the beginning of a show. But the other purchase, which is one of the most favorite things I think I've ever ordered on Amazon.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
You got it? You got it in the office? You got it behind you?
Oh, the bidet?
The hatchet. The hatchet.
No, the hatchet. I think about the bidet. Okay.
Everyone's got to get this.
My bidet too. I've got
this rocks. I cannot begin to tell you.
It's a tomahawk, a throwing Corona hawk is what I call it. For when the Corona zombies come. Right into the brainstem, where I can chop through the Corona zombies, trying to save my family. You know, I thought a lot about this. This is I believe a very wise purchase.
David,
at least I think so. But
let me tell you something. When it comes in the mail, when it comes in Amazon with the delivery,
it came in a box. I pulled it right out.
Oh my God! And you pull it out, the strength that you feel. Now, let me preface: if you haven't figured it out, I'm a New York Jew pussy boy, right? I mean, I'm really not that tough. I talk a good game. I'm tough in business, but I'm a pussy boy, right? Someone breaks into my house. I'm not like you. I'm not big and buff. I don't got my 15 guns. This thing, the power I have. I used to keep a golf club under my bed. That was my weapon. No one's met. Like I feel like Thor when I pick that up. You know what I mean? Like my whole body changes, right? And I feel like I'm wearing tight.
You did get it.
Yes. Yeah, I got it the second I bought it that day.
We're bidet buddies and tomahawk buddies. Yes.
So we're going to talk about the bidet with everyone. Is that not too personal?
Oh, the bidet. If the right bidet would make you see God.
Well, that's how we bonded. David and I. The first thing, David, I just think came out of using it, and you were relishing in the joy and the freshness that you were feeling.
Oh, so clean. I mean, you heard the times as a guy you were like,
you said bidet, Facebook, bidet.
Now,
someone asked if that's what we're talking about. Yes, David sold me our entire first conversation. Well, not our first real one. We did a bunch of networking things, but when we got on a video together just to really talk, was about his bidet that he got and how it's a life changer. And first I'm just laughing and I can't believe this guy's telling me this, but I love him for telling me this. And cut to the chase. About 2 hours later, I sent him my receipt on Amazon for my bidet. And I got to tell you, my family is jealous. My kids think I'm crazy. I can't get my 14-year-old to use it. The girl, she won't. She's disgusted by it. My son tried in the beginning. Listen, when you're young, you don't really care that much about having a clean, what's a politically correct word? Anus. But David, it's one of the best things I've ever purchased, and I think why are we so anti-bidet in our country when the rest of the world they don't even flinch? Why is that?
It's big toilet paper. I've been preaching about that.
Is that like Big Pharma?
Yeah, it's like Big Pharma, big toilet paper. I'm telling you, they're gonna shut this video down right now for just saying that.
Like Charmin, you think Charmin's like Mr. Whipple? If anyone remembers that guy, is like behind this big conspiracy.
I'll go Alex Jones on you. It's Big TP. Let me tell you. They're in your bathroom right now. They're watching you. Ah! So yeah.
But it does. They try to sell you. I love the site. I was sold. You sold me emotionally on it, right? This is back to selling. You sold me on the reason to get it, the experience, the emotion, the freshness, the pleasure, the how you were smiling about it. You didn't give me all these friggin' details. When you go to the website, do you know you could save 85% of your toilet paper usage over the course of the year? It will save you. Like, no one's buying a friggin' bidet to save $46 over a lifetime. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so that, like, it amazed me of the points. What was the name of the one we got?
The Boss Bidet, because it's
Boss Bidet.
When you're on it, you know who's the boss. I'm telling you, it's powerful. You can't use it at full stream.
No, I tried it at full stream. It's a little painful. So sometimes you need it at full stream. I'm not gonna lie, right? By the way, if I ever thought I'd gonna meet a woman on Herc, it's not happening after this. You can't picture someone using a bidet and then find them slightly sexually attractive.
Which is weird because you're clean. It's the cleanest thing you can do. It's amazing.
It's counterintuitive.
It is. It's telling you, we recommend it. We don't get any affiliate money from it.
No, nothing to do with it.
We should, but man, yeah, the boss bidet is the way to go. Oh,
they do, and they got two settings. They got the settings for the guys in the back, and then you turn it, and it's got the front settings for for the ladies.
Jack,
or the
moving right along. Like, change the subject, please.
All right, so sorry about that. We'll move on.
Oh man,
you want to go to some news?
Let's go to some news. That sounds fantabulous.
All right, so we got a couple interesting.
We got to do the.
Oh yeah, let's do it. All right, so this one was on the first, so that's nice and fresh. Majority of Americans, David, they're not going to consider changing jobs amid the COVID-19 if they could continue working at their current positions. Now, one reason, 69% say they don't think they'd be able to find a new job during the crisis. Right. So that's 72% age 35 to 54 think they won't be able to find a job. What do you think about that? What does that mean for recruiters? Are these people just pussies? What's the deal?
I think it's a golden opportunity. You know why? Because if you're not a weak sauce recruiter who reposts a client's job description and does a quick email, you might be out of business. But if you can show your clients how the top performers out there don't want to move because of its safety concern, right? Not safety, but it's they want security, strength of leadership, and what if it doesn't work out? I can't get that maybe we'll forget another job offer. So it's a risk. It's all about risk avoidance. So if you're a recruiter who can, with nuance and skill, coax them out, I think it's a golden opportunity personally, right? But again, that's the way I look at it. But I think it's a good opportunity, but I think it is. I think a lot of it comes down to, look, you can be an accountant and you go take another job, it doesn't work out. Oh, all right, well, I'll take one of these other calls. Like it's not as much of a perceived risk. And now it's like, well, I don't like my job, but it's the devil that I know, and I know I'm there. And that's the you have to learn as a recruiter how to adjust and pivot with it, and just and know that there's different things that are more important. I mean, I told my clients, like, look, when this thing happened, go back to all your clients that are still hiring and ask them, hey, all that opportunity thing that we talked about in terms of your employer value proposition. Okay, let's change that. What about, tell me about strength of leadership. Tell me about security. Tell me about your plan. Tell me about those are the things that are going to matter now. And that's the way I look at it.
Yeah, well, and what I loved about it was it started off with what might be a little doom and gloom for recruiters, that people just aren't going to switch jobs. Like, wow, that kind of stinks if you're a recruiter. But when you strip the poll back, which was cool, they said it's because they don't think they could find a job. Well, we've already found a job for them, or we're the secret to that sauce. We'll find them that job. So again, coming in networked and understanding when you get that objection, you just got to delve in a little bit, dive in a little bit deeper. I think that's the key.
And also, I will say this on top of that, they have a great opportunity, one of the greatest opportunities in the world to talk to that a VP that never returns a call for years and years and years and years and years now might be returning your call if left in the right context, right? If you leave the right message, or returning that email that they never did, for years. And because now we have a different value prop than we did before. I mean, look, I think I said this on the last show, but we look at all those diatribes that candidates would have on LinkedIn about how, recruiters are horrible. No. You don't see them now. Isn't that weird? You just don't see all the nastiness. At least I don't anymore. Not like I used to. It's interesting.
Yeah, totally. Totally. All right. So I'm going to combine two stories, David. And they're interesting. They're kind of about the same topic, but they come from a little bit different angles. One came out on May 18th, and it's about Microsoft. So Microsoft's CEO raises concerns about what's lost from working from home, right? That's completely interesting. So it was from a New York Times, article, and so much is lost when you work from home. Then a day later, there's another story that came out from a quantum workplace survey that said remote work improves employee engagement, says 62% of the workers. So, on the one hand, wow, we miss so much and it's not the same. On the other hand, the entire thing we've been told, and if you go back to the last recession, all anyone talked about was employee engagement, right? So engagement was the key, but you're more engaged at home, but it's less productive to be at home.
There's trade-offs. Look at the studies. Who said there's three kinds of lies, damn lies, and was statistics, whatever the phrase. I forget who said that, but anyway,
Mark Twain, right? Because Mark Twain and Ben Franklin is my guess. They had, but was that guy a genius? How did it seriously?
Yeah.
How many great quotes did he really say? All those, or did just someone come up with it? Let me give it to Mark Twain so I can use it. There's no way one person's that witty.
Well, my favorite is the rumors of my death have been greatly exaggerated. I love that one. But look, the way I look at it, of course, working from home for certain personalities, I think they could do very well. Others, not so much. I mean, we're not all cut from the same cloth, and not every job is cut from the same cloth. We're all different. I think there are, things you do lose. Sure, you lose a little bit of camaraderie. You're not going to have the little birthday and the cake, and Barbara gets the big piece. She always gets the big piece, right? You lose a little bit of that flavor, for sure. And I do see that, and I will say, because I'm working from home for a long time, people would always say, "Oh my God, you're so lucky." I'm like, well, it depends, because for the first couple of years, man, it was a little tough for me to mentally get used to, because your commute is 15 seconds. That's fantastic, but when you're off work, you're still here, and you got to figure out how to manage yourself. And that's
it's hard, David. It's making the transition, and it's hard to be productive all the time, right? You need to do what we do and book things back to back, right? Because if not, it's really easy to veer off. It's also easy to not have a work-life balance, right? And to make everything all about work. But what I love about these surveys, and if you look at the one about improves engagement, they also talked, I saw another one that only 4% of people said it would horribly affects what they do, right? But 60% said it has no impact, which I find that hard to believe. And 40% said it had some impact in terms of productivity. I find that hard to believe. There's no way you're as productive at home. Are you really as productive at home? You think? I don't mean people like us that work from home, that decided to do it. We made the transition and we got used to it.
But now I'm super productive. But yeah, it takes a transition, and again, it takes a certain kind of person. Some people just don't do well. Some people do. It's just a transition. But then again, I think most people can learn most things. I think if given the right strategy and planning ahead, I think a company can get most of its workforce to get kind of pretty much on board. And I think there's some other trade-offs. For example, maybe that might be a little bit less engaged, a little bit less productive. But then again, if you're cutting out 70% of useless meetings because you're not there, that could be a good thing, right? And there's less commute. Personally, man, I'm kind of excited because imagine if companies start doing more remote work, man, I would love not to have to worry about relocation issues.
David, they just, tons of companies. Facebook just announced, you and I were talking about this a little bit before we went live, but Facebook just announced that within the next 5 years, they're going to have 50% of their workforce remote. Two of the major banks just announced yesterday that they are going to not have the majority of their workforce come back. when things, come back to normal, or God forbid again, I'm not going to use new normal or any of those annoying terms that keep coming out, but pretty wild. So, thank God if you're in commercial real estate, I would probably look at getting a little smarter. I think that the industry is going to get hit a little bit hard. But so, David, let me ask you this, to your point.
Oh, yeah.
It says 30% of employees reported accomplishing more in less time. No, duh, right? Well, yeah, just all the things you just mentioned. You don't have the commute, you don't have those meetings. So that, of course, how's it only 30%? How is that not 100% for that number? How do you not accomplish more in less time if you're working from home? How is it 30?
Well, there's probably a good segment of the population that so back in the sales game, way back in the day, we used to call it HBO sales. When you were supposed to be out there selling door to door or whatever, but you're at home watching HBO.
Now it's Netflix, I'm sure, right?
Netflix, yeah, Netflix sales. So I think sometimes people just get they can't, they're not very good with keeping distractions away. In fact, I just posted something earlier today about the magic button on your phone that makes you magically more productive, and the magic button is airplane mode. Because we don't have. But so if you're at home, you're a lot more likely to be able to do this, right? And as opposed to at work, and you got the boss lady looking down on you. And so I think there's part of it. People have to, I think people give willpower too much credit. You have to manage your environment, put rails on, because your willpower can't keep you going all 12 hours or whatever your workday is. Anything less than 12, and you're a wussy, in my opinion. But put rails on to keep yourself, it's like, if you always hit the snooze button, okay, put the alarm clock on the other side of the room, solved. I mean, it's not that hard, right? Create an environment which helps you do the things you got to do.
Well, we have to certainly get used to it. I mean, now we Netflix and chill, which, as an aside, and this no joke. So, I've been on the dating scene, and after a couple of dates with someone, I'm like, she's like, "Hey, what do you want to do?" I'm like, "Listen, no strings attached, but what do you say we like Netflix and chill?" And she reacted really weirdly. And cutting to the chase, she let me know later that that's a euphemism for having sex. Now, I'm no boomer. I mean, I am a boomer.
Wait, but what if you really want to Netflix and chill? Like, what if
that means, right? That's what I'm saying. And I meant let's Netflix and chill. Look, I'm a guy. It doesn't mean that maybe on date 3 you don't think it might lead to it, but it wasn't a net. So evidently, when people put Netflix and chill on profiles, or they say it, it is a euphemism for sex. Did you know this?
I did know this. You
did?
Yes, I spent before release. I spent a little while in the dating pool. So
did I. What are you trying to say?
And it was back when it first kind of started becoming a phrase. I would say, Netflix and chilling. It's like, well, you know what that really means? You're like, yeah, I know exactly what that means. Anyway, and don't give the objection any oxygen and keep going, and just like, anyway, Netflix and chill.
Well, I think it was at a case where, again, I think if you Netflix and chill to mean literally that, like, let's hang out and go to a movie or watch TV at the house. It's like renting a video. Let's Netflix and chill. Let's relax. Obviously, and the 3-date rule, I gotta say, pretty consistently works, or not works, but it's a thing, right? So the odds are Netflix and chilling does turn into having sex, but it shouldn't be now reversed the other way around.
Well,
know what I mean?
I will say this: 3-date rule is because you're not closing good enough. So you got to.
David, what about getting to know the person?
Guys, not closing.
What about really? No, you see, I've changed a lot in that way. I call me Mr. Sensitive, but I just want to get to know them. Is that so wrong?
Yeah.
Is that wrong? It is wrong. Okay. Yeah. So back to this one. So,
just kidding.
So more than half the people say that they're more productive. Then they're saying only 30% say they're accomplishing more in less time. I don't buy this stuff. There was an article last week that came up, and the reason is they're all surveys. So people are surveying these people, and they say, people say productivity has only decreased by 2%. Bull crap. No way. And but that's because someone calls you up. They're like, you don't know if they're your boss, if they're your boss's firm, if it's going to get back to you. What are you going to say? No, I slept in late this morning, and I watched Netflix and I chilled. No, I'm as productive. No way.
You know what it is, man? It's 30% of people who fill out surveys. not the general population. People getting shit done. I don't have time for no survey. I don't got time to.
That's dead on, bro. That's great. That's exactly it.
I've right. Survey in my entire life, I think.
That's exactly it. Yeah,
those studies.
That's right. There's a term for that in industrial psychology. I forget what that's called, but it's a bias. It's a testing bias or a sample bias or
maybe. Yeah, bias though, because that is different. But I know you're talking.
Well, we know what we're talking about. Yeah, no, that's a great point.
It's just we're smart. Just because we can't think of the word doesn't mean we don't know what it means.
Well, it bothers me too. It's just like all this COVID stuff. You know, I mean, like I'm from New Jersey. Unfortunately, I know tons of people that have passed from it or been real sick, but everyone has a solution to it. And anecdotally, like, no, you got to take garlic and lemon mixed with apple cider. I had it and I'm cured. It drives me nuts. I mean, and when I see stuff like that on Facebook, like. Seriously, like, did you not go to college? Like, how on earth could you think that because one thing happens and there's another result that they're related? I mean, I always say, you know, gee, I went through a red light the other day and I caught the flu 4 days later. I guess going through red lights gives you the friggin' flu. Yeah. You know, like that's what like it has nothing to do with it. Sorry, I'm really angry.
Don't get me started on homeopathic remedies. I hate that shit. That's
what do you hate?
Homeopathic remedies. Such bunk science.
Bunk.
It's sugar pills. That's basically it. Big sugar pills, and that's and I'm not gonna get. But I will say, yeah, little things like that. You catch the cold, and then you take some garlic. What happens if you catch a cold? You get better. So you take some garlic after you're sick, you start getting better. Oh, must be the garlic. No, you're just getting better. Yeah, and I think half the ancient Chinese remedies are based off that.
How about this? If you get COVID. And you drink enough battery acid that is super bad for you but won't kill you, you'll get better having drunk battery acid while having COVID. And therefore, battery acid cures COVID. I tried it. It worked.
Solved. Take that, Fauci. Handled. Next.
Fauci. Yeah. Okay. Wow. Absolutely. All right. So in the interest of time, one last story. And yes. And this is, most people out here are not into the staffing side of the business. You all need to be. All right. And again, I'm going to do some live stuff on helping you get better into staffing. I know a bunch of you do. But Uber, David, are you aware of this? You aware of what Uber Works was? Did you follow that much? Have you heard of it?
I've heard of it. Yeah, it's like a gig thing, right? I believe.
Well, it was started as just a gig thing, but it became a gig plus, and really was trying to be the Uber of staffing. And so Uber Works was a staffing business that was working on basically getting all of these hourly 1099 people to basically become the world's giant agency. Mm-hmm. And anything they touch has pretty much gone to gold, right?
Except for profit.
Same with Amazon forever, right? Right. But profit doesn't matter terribly much right now in the big gig users, according to the analysts. But I guess that's a whole other thing. Well, eventually you're going to say they're going to turn it because they have so much market. I mean, Amazon, what was a decade? I mean, more than a decade.
Money, right? I swear I'll quit drinking. I swear, I swear I'll quit drinking this time. I really mean it. That's basically how I view Uber and their constant losses and promises of profit in the future.
Wow, you are very bitter over Uber. Did you buy stock? Wow.
No, I love Uber. I love using it. Don't get me wrong. I love using it. But
why are you so angry over Uber?
Because I think it's ridiculous. Just the whole concept of high growth.
You got Uber fewer.
Yeah, that too. I just think it's ridiculous. Uber. The whole concept of I understand growth and less profit, but man, it's at some point, are you going to turn a profit? Are you going to, it's I've seen so many growth companies that they're just running the ground. Look, WeWork is like the worst example of it. One of the worst examples.
Well, but I think that's how, but again, you can look at Airbnb in the beginning, in particular Amazon, which just wanted to get market share and then dominate and figure out ways to monetize the audience.
Amazon
they obviously have done really right. They did it totally right.
Yeah, they did it
right. So Uber Eats did it right, though, David. I mean, the Uber Eats is competing pretty nicely. You know what? Supposedly, I don't know. And I should probably do the research before my news stories. But
no need. I don't do
it. We can fake it. It doesn't matter. As trainers, as leaders, as thought leaders, we could say whatever we want, because I've been to so many. They make it up, right? There's an old joke in the training world that 87.65% of trainers make up their statistics.
True story.
Yeah, get it. Okay. So, right. But no, totally. Like, you could say whatever the hell you want. It's like when you go to one of those tours in a city you've never been to. I'd love to have that job, because people don't know anything. This is the monument of Samantha. It was built in 1863 when the Iroquois Indians, like, I'd have so much fun. Well, just tossing crap.
We don't hate there's like either trainers or lead gen specialists, whatever. And all their stuff is like revolutionary, industry disrupting. Bro, it's LinkedIn messaging. I get it, but it ain't industry disrupting. All right, I'm just sorry, but the cold calls are dead. And all those standard lines you tend to hear.
Oh my God, I've heard it my whole life.
But it's as bad. It's as bad as old dogs who are like, get on the phone. No, there's somewhere in between.
Always works.
So always somewhere in between.
Yep. All right. So my only point with the Uber is that Uber work staffing closed. That was the whole point. They're done closing it out. They're not making it. They're giving up, which is certainly good to some people in the staffing industry who worried that they might end up dominating. And as you said, being a pretty big disruptor. So that's the news today, David. Ding 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 ding.
All this disruption. Oh man, yeah. I want to disrupt the disruption industry. I swear to God, it's just that shit like that. Thought leader, disruptor, innovator. What else is there? What were the?
Is that Michael G. Cox himself? Is on the phone? Is on the Michael G. Cox? Dude, I would kill for that name. I mean, if you have that name, you're going to be successful. It doesn't matter all the good things you said about him
today, and he's fresh off sets.
Hi, I'm Michael G.
If you
Cox.
will. So Michael G. Cox, for those who are on Accelerator know, he is our hype man. He's the guy doing the with the towel. He's hype man. Tired of Anyway, that's what I'm trying to say. I guess that's it. That's the show. That's the show. It got kind of awkward. It's weird.
It wasn't awkward for me. I mean, you were bitter. For you, it was, because there's something about Uber that you need to talk to your therapist about. There's something like there was an unusual reaction.
Okay, I'll tell you the real story behind Uber. You want to hear the real story? Go.
Yeah, because I knew there was one, right? I knew.
Right. So if anybody looks at my LinkedIn profile, what you'll find is that before Kinetic Group, I had 5-6 years. I owned a company called Uber in Tampa. I swear to God, look at my LinkedIn profile, because
same spelling.
Yeah, because in SAP, as an SAP recruiter, I started this thing. It's like, well, it's a German software company. I'm like, oh, Uber. This is before Uber was even an idea on for ride sharing, right? So the company folded in 2010 with that last recession, and I started the Kinetic Group, right? So I did it with a partner, and then we folded it, and I started it on my own. So what happened was, though, to this day, I occasionally get unemployment letters from states from Uber drivers that file unemployment, I suppose. And I get these letters all the time, because you go on sunbiz.org and you look up Uber, and I get these letters. I can't tell you how many letters I've gotten in the last 2 months. I'm talking stacks, specifically from the state of Illinois, addressed to Uber. And I've got to, return to center, because I've called so many times. These,
So bitter that they became like this, everyone became like trillionaires, or, obviously trillionaire.
First.
Right. I knew it, dude. I knew there was something. And, I had the same thing with my company before I was the dynamic sale. My company, it was weird for a recruiting company, but I called it Pizza Hut. And you can only imagine what happened with that. As crazy. People called me for delivery. I was super angry. So I have the same reaction when people bring up Pizza Hut.
All right, I've got a jam, because I have a training class actually for Accelerator in like 1 minute ago. I got to run on that, so I got to jam.
Hey,
everybody.
Pleasure. You have a great holiday, my friend, and to all of you out there in Hercland, may you have a safe weekend.
The recording will be up this weekend. A little late on that last week. Recording will be up this weekend. I love you, everybody. I love you, Neil, most of all. I really do.
All right, and Ken, talk to me about your question. I'll have to check it out later. Talk to you soon, everyone.
Bye, everybody. See ya. Hey, thank you for watching Headhunters and Boxers Talking Smack. Who doesn't love Headhunters and Boxers? Who doesn't love talking smack? Join the show every Friday, 12 noon Eastern, live in the Headhunter and Executive Recruiter Community. And make sure you click one of these boxes here and watch some of these videos or something. I don't know what's going on here. I just work here.